What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we're going to be doing the 1,000-round review of a very compact and easy to carry 9mm pistol, the Springfield Hellcat. Now, before we do that, as always, I want to thank my Patreon supporters because you guys was able to afford this gun. Bought this gun with the Patreon dollars. If you want to help support the channel, all you have to do is go down to the link in the description and sign up for Patreon. And thanks for the opportunity to continue reviewing guns for you guys. I also want to mention a local homeless shelter in Ames, Iowa. If you're not up for going to Patreon, that's fine, but please go down there and click that link. It donates directly to a youth shelter in Ames, Iowa. Those kids could really use your support, so please go down there and give them $1 or $2. It goes a long way, especially if a lot of people do it. Now, the Springfield Hellcat, as you can see right here, is a gun that I have had for a while. I think I've had this gun for like a year now. And we did the first shots quite a while ago. I mean, it was at least before last winter, so it's got to be coming up on a year. The reason why the 1,000-round review took so long is because it's very small. And 1,000 rounds out of a small subcompact double stack 9mm pistol like this takes a while because it kind of sucks to shoot this pistol 1,000 times. It's a 9mm, and you guys are going to be out there saying there's no recoil on a 9mm, yada yada. Well, there is, and a gun this small kicks probably considerably more than something like a 45 in a 1911, or maybe like a Glock 20 or something like that. And honestly, it's just a little uncomfortable for me to shoot, but I understand the reason that it exists, and we'll get into that. So this is a subcompact double stack 9mm pistol that is striker fired, which is a very popular genre of pistols these days. That genre of pistol started with the SIG 365, and that pistol blew up and became the highest selling pistol the last few years. So Springfield obviously wanted to follow suit and stay current, so they made the Hellcat, which is essentially their version of the 365, and then the Ruger came out with one, and Smith & Wesson came out with one, Taurus came out with one, and on they go. And I've got a few videos comparing those, but I don't have a specific review on the Hellcat, so I figured we'd do one here today. Now, with an 18-ounce overall weight, it's very small and very easy to carry. And it has a 3-inch barrel, making it very compact as well, considering the capacity. Now, it comes with an 11 and a 13-round magazine, which is an unheard of capacity before the last few years. If you compare this to something like the M&P Shield, the original, or the Glock 43 or something like that, you'll find that it's similar in size with a little bit less than double the capacity, which makes it a very viable firearm for concealed carry. It makes it very ideal, in my personal opinion, as long as you're competent up with a pistol that you're able to shoot it accurately, which we'll get into here in a minute as well. Now, there's a bunch of features that I like about the Hellcat, and there's a bunch of different models as well. This one is not optics ready, but it does come optics ready if you so desire, with a little bit more cash, of course. It also comes with, I believe now, the compensated version and longer barreled versions, along with different colors as well. This one's flat dark earth, but they come in black, and they come in several different colors, which make it a very versatile firearm, so you can kind of get what you want, and that's kind of nice. Back in the old days, you weren't able to do that. Modern era of handguns, there's a lot more options available. Now, the features that I like on the gun are going to be the dual captured recoil spring. I like that a lot. I like the overall size and weight, of course. I didn't mention that it is only 1 inch wide, and that's what you're going to feel in the old belly when you're carrying it, so only being about 1 inch wide is really awesome, especially for that 13+1. 14 rounds in a gun this small, again, pretty freaking awesome. That's only one short of a Glock 19, and this is a whole lot smaller than a Glock 19. Let me give you, well, the only gun I have on the table here is the CZ P10F, and you can see here it is a lot damn smaller for only about 5 rounds less. However, the P10F is obviously going to shoot way better. Now, it's got some U-notch high-definition tritium night sights on there, which is a very high-quality sighting setup. However, that white U on there I did not like at all, and it did cause some issues in accuracy for me. Another thing that we ran into with this pistol that is that I had to drift the sight because it was way off out of the box. Okay. All right, so we're out here at about 80 yards or so, and we're just going to shoot at one of the IPSC targets there and just kind of see if we're on. And if we don't hit right away, we'll go up close and just kind of judge where we're at, and then we'll move back eventually when I get used to whatever sight picture the gun gives us. That was way off to the left. Way off to the left. right, it's pretty safe to say we're gonna have to shoot paper. You're not gonna have to worry about that if you get the optics ready version, but this one we did have to drift back in order to get some accurate shots. It was a couple of feet off at 50 yards, a couple inches off at 7 yards, so it was definitely noticeable. Aside from being off though, we do have the little tactical notch there, so you can run off your belt in case you needed to do a one-hand manipulation, aka shot in the freaking hand, which would suck. The slide serrations are extremely usable, and they're also low profile. That's hard to do. It's hard to make them low profile so they don't hurt your stomach or your back, but still very usable in case of malfunction clearing and stuff like that. I like the front slide serrations, especially with an optics ready gun, because you don't have a lot of space back here, especially with a small gun like this. Now it has a little thumb ramp there, which is kind of just for aesthetics because it's pretty unusable, especially in a small gun like this. We have an accessory rail to mount lights, lasers, and all that cool stuff, and this is one of the smallest guns that you can mount lights and lasers to without having to mount it to the trigger guard, so I like that a lot as well. Metal guide rod in there, or sorry, nope, plastic guide rod in there, my bad, and a cold hammer forged barrel, which is pretty sweet. Indicator here and on the back. Then we have the slide release, which is single-sided, takedowns up here with a sort of sunken in magazine release, which is kind of hard to get to. However, you won't exactly hit it by accident, that's for damn sure. We have some pretty decent texture on the gun considering the size and overall philosophy of use of the gun. It's a pretty decent grip, although it's extremely small, obviously, hence the small overall profile. A lot easier to shoot when you have the extended magazine in there. For me personally, because I got the big goon hands, my hand's actually bigger than the gun itself, which makes, again, guns like this very challenging to shoot. One of the ways that I shoot real fast is recoil control. I keep the gun on target. I don't let it rise up. I don't follow through with recoil like some of the older people that you see on YouTube. I like to hold that bitch on target and fire as many rounds as fast as possible on target right now. And this size of gun is difficult for me to do that with because my right hand covers the entire grip of the gun, and my recoil control predominantly comes from my left hand. You want to squeeze pretty hard with your right, but you don't want your finger to be compromised because your trigger finger is obviously what runs the gun accurately and quickly. So you got to have a real good squeeze with your left hand, and I can't really do that because there is no space for me to do so. Also, when you're running a gun real fast, sometimes you have some trigger issues, slapping the trigger, things like that. And in the old days, they tell you not to do that kind of stuff. Well, that's great, but your support hand also can hold the gun on target and mitigate some of those trigger issues, especially when you're going really fast. Again, not being able to do that with a smaller gun exacerbates the already large recoil of the gun itself and slows you down considerably in your cadence of fire. Getting into what you'd use this for. Obviously, you would use it for concealed carry. That's what it's designed for. However, a gun like this with a little bit bigger grip